Hi everyone, Erica Reed here, and in this video, I'm going to be going over this custom chatbot that I created in BoodleBox. This week, students are brainstorming controversial topics for their research essay and need to think of things like a research question or a claim that they are going to be making in their research paper. They also need to think about why this topic matters and why it matters to them and who is affected by this controversial topic. Who are stakeholders in this controversial topic, or groups of people, individuals who would be interested in understanding more about the controversial topic. And lastly, students are working on drafting a thesis sentence that contains the controversial topic, an opinion, usually using the word should or the word should not, and then 3 main reasons why that is the opinion in the thesis sentence. So I'm excited to talk more about this custom chatbot because it will help a student go through the process of thinking of all of those things connected with not only choosing a topic for a research paper, but thinking about why it matters and who is affected by it, and keywords to think about to find sources, scholarly sources to back up this claim that will be demonstrated in the thesis sentence. Now, the thing about this custom chatbot that I created is that while it will help a student through that entire process, by using this chatbot, I found that it is time consuming. That is because this chatbot is designed to guide the thinking process, but not to do the thinking for anyone. So you can't tell it, I am thinking of the controversial topic of AI in higher education. Who are 3 stakeholders who would be interested in this topic? It's not going to just list 3 stakeholders. It's going to be like, well, let's narrow down that topic because it's really broad. Or, well, why does this topic even matter to you? Or who do you think is affected by this topic? It's really awesome that it won't, give the answer, but it is also going to ask, the user to think and answer the question. So since this doesn't start right away, I'm going to go ahead and preview it. And it still has, since I'm logged into BoodleBox, it still has my last chat history. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. But if you are using this for the first time, you would click Launch Chat. So let's take a look at the chat I've already done. Let me move my face. There we go. Get my face out of the way. Cool. So this was my initial prompt, and when you hit launch chat, it is going to have information already set up, and I believe, so this message right here, as soon as you hit launch chat, this is the prompt that it's going to run automatically, and this is its response, like, what is the controversial topic you are thinking about? So I've given the chatbot all of the information that I want to go through, and it already has the prompt of help me work through this without giving me the answers. Ask me questions that lead me to discovering the answers for myself. So it's really important when you're using a chatbot to help you with any thinking process that you tell it, hey, don't do these things, like ask me questions, help me go through the thinking process, don't give me the answers. So while this is really helpful, I will iterate again that this can be exhausting because it's going to take you through the entire thinking process. So if you think, going into this, oh, this is going to help me save time, it's not. It's going to help you think and really, really critically think, which is great. It's nice to have someone to bounce ideas off of and someone to ask you questions. But there's a level of fatigue that comes with it. So just know that you can always save your work as you go along. If you were going to use this, please submit the response afterwards so that way I can kind of see your chat history. It will be awesome transparency between me and you as my student, and it will just be really cool to see how students are using this. Now, this isn't for a grade or anything, but I really do think this chatbot will help. So I use this example. I'm considering using the controversial topic of AI in education. And I love how the first thing it does is it helps narrow down that topic. And after it gave, a couple of examples, I'm like, oh, that actually is a really good idea. I'm interested in this topic because I see a lot of students use AI tools to finish their homework, and I think that is wrong. And I'm writing this from the perspective of a student, not just as an instructor, which of course I think using AI to finish homework is wrong. But I went through this process, thinking more so as a student than just an instructor. And I love its response because I did want this to be encouraging like a tutor. It's really on a starting point. It sounds like you have a clear perspective forming. Now, let me ask you some questions to help you think deeper. So this is where it starts to feel exhausting. It's like, okay, I need to go through, and in my response, I have to type in all of my answers to these questions. And that can feel exhausting. It can feel like it's a lot of time. So just know going into using this bot, it is going to take time, but it's going to ask really good questions to get you really thinking about your controversial topic. Because I was in a rush, I just wrote a short response, and it came back with additional questions to help me dig deeper. So I can see how this already is going to really help with narrowing down a topic. And then just thinking about, okay, I'm just going to pick this topic and just see if I can move forward. And I love how the response was, oh, excellent, you refined your topic. So now let's move on. The next part of your pitch is really thinking about, who is affected. And I tested it to see, okay, can I just make it give me the answer? And it's like, no, which I really love. Said it might be faster to get the answer, but here's the thing. You've already done the thinking to figure this out yourself. So let's go back. Let's think about this. And it's really going to guide you through the entire process. It's going to ask you questions. And at the end, it will guide you through the entire discussion forum prompt for this week. So I really like this chatbot. I think it's really going to help, and it's going to help students deep think without giving them the answer. So to all my students watching this video, I hope you will go through this process if you feel stuck at all this week, and just know the bot's going to make you think, and it's going to ask you a lot of questions, and you're going to have to do some writing, to write back. And it is a great learning experience. This is going to be some productive struggle that is really going to help when it comes to thinking about all of these things that are going to go into your research essay. So again, when you're all done, make sure to hit submit so I can have a receipt or a transcript essentially of how you utilize this. Make sure you're signed into your BoodleBox account, that you've created a free account so you can interact with these tools. But overall, I just hope this bot helps. I hope you'll let me know if you use this bot, not just, by submitting your history, your transcript, but, shoot me an email. Let me know if this was helpful or if it was just exhausting and overwhelming, because I think it will be that as well, but in a really good, productive struggle way. All right, enjoy.